What's up?
What's
doing,
up?
You weren't quite ready for that, huh? You weren't
No,
expecting.
I appreciate the throwback to my former career, if that's what you were aiming for there.
Very few people, I think, get the reference. You had to have been between like 5 and 10 years old, right around like the early 90s to get it.
Yeah, I saw it making a comeback on TikTok though. So
oh yeah,
yeah, maybe it's gonna get cool again. It wasn't a Bud Light commercial, but I saw some people doing that the other day.
Seriously, just like normal people doing the "what's up" kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like, was it a montage or what?
It was funny settings, like to get into it. I think it was like a guy was coming home from work, and then he was getting into he hadn't seen his girlfriend in a couple of days or whatever it was, and he went in and she's in the bed. And he goes, "What's up?" And then out of the corner, another guy says, "What's up?" And she's like, "Oh." So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it was a good one.
What's up, everybody? So, welcome to today's Coffee with Michael. I'm here with Matt SCHMITT. So, Matt SCHMITT, let's go back here real quick. Matt SCHMITT did, what did you say, $1 million over Christmas? Or in 30 days?
Yeah, 30 days leading up to Christmas. Yeah, that's
$1 million
just
in revenue.
That's just one store. I mean, there was more than that.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing, man. Print on demand.
All print on demand. Yeah. The big news of that is, a couple of years ago, I don't know if everybody knows, I sold my big store that I had built up over 5 years. And this is a new store that we took from basically nothing up to $1 million within 30 days, within a year or so. And again, it's one of 3 at the moment. So
amazing, man.
Yeah, we got the team's rocking and rolling, man. The infrastructure is built pretty well. I'm pretty proud of everybody.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know Matt, Matt had a really big exit from a print-on-demand store. He built a real solid brand around. But that was like a year or two ago, I think.
Like 13 months or so, yeah. Technically 2 years ago, but it's only about 13 months ago, yeah. And
then you've got 3 brands that you're kind of running right now. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I really admire about Matt is he's very focused on like processes and systems. He just referenced having his team was really rocking and rolling. They got the infrastructure going. Like he's building systems. And what's cool is once you build the system, you can copy paste the system over and over again on different businesses, right? So it's I just really admire that about Matt. If you haven't seen it, we've done 2 interviews in the past, maybe 3. So go back, look through kind of the archive of Coffee with Michael's. Go to our YouTube channel if you want to see the previous ones. We've had some of Matt's students on here that have had some big successes, like Tiffany. Everybody around here knows Tiffany. So anyway, if this is your first time meeting Matt, go back and watch some of those videos. So he just did $1 million in revenue in 30 days in the run up to Christmas. And if you look in the Facebook group, just this week, Matt, it was probably 2 days ago, I saw you make a post where you did something like 50K in revenue on some ShineOn products you're running. Why don't you tell us about that real quick?
Yeah, so another store that that we've been building up, relatively brand new, and like you said, I'm process oriented, right? So as I kind of try to explain in that post, we had gone really hard in a couple of different areas, on demand products, different products. And built this brand up, and it was rocking and rolling. And around Christmas, we're like, I was talking to Eric and stuff like that, and we worked out, I'm like, hey, this is, I think, what we're going to do, right? We're going to add the jewelry to the store, and we're going to start just kind of shifting volume, because it's really important. From my old career that we referenced earlier, it was a rule that we always keep the lights on, right? I always continue to push what's keeping the lights on, so to speak, right? Quote unquote. So, what we had, it was a lot of revenue, and I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do incremental growth and scaling. And so you don't want to disrupt that. So I started adding jewelry to the store in a very systematic way, right? Like basically trying to complement the winners that I already had, right? So that the person would come into my store. It was one of the reasons for my success in print on demand space. It's very correlated to what one of your guys' successes is. I boost my average order value, right? So I take a lead item and I complement it in some way so that somebody comes in and buys 2 items, right? So I started doing that with the complementing of, or more items. Started complementing that with the jewelry. And we ended up doing about 50 grand of sales with ShineOn products with not really pushing a whole lot of ads to it, which is really cool. We only towards the end of it started at, really giving that final push because you guys had such a good last minute delivery. We hit it in that final week when everything else had to go down. We were pushing ShineOn products and it worked out really well. And now the cool thing is it's going to snowball for us because now we're getting all the reviews in. We're getting all the different stuff from the customers.
That's awesome.
We're hitting them right now. I'm getting notifications as we speak from our ads going live for Valentine's Day. So sky's the limit, and especially now that you guys have, I think metal art's going to complement this brand extremely well too.
Yeah. We're going to get into that. So we're going to talk about Matt's favorite platforms, kind of the process he goes through, the research, the designs, the launching his ads, his favorite ad platforms. We're going to talk a little bit about metal art and how metal art is going to start to play into this, his strategy for stores. We're going to get into all of that. Today, we're going to be talking primarily about scaling really big for Valentine's Day, right? We're going to walk through kind of the whole process. If you're brand new, this is going to be a really good one for you. We're going to kind of walk through step by step. It's going to be high level, 100,000 feet. But at the end of this, you should have kind of lay of the land on how to get going here in the print on demand space. So do me a favor here. If you're excited for this, like the post, drop some heart emojis in the comments because it is Valentine's Day. I will accept roses and wine as well, right? So hearts, roses, and wine. What's that?
I said or tequila, not to throw you.
Okay, Matt will take some tequila.
Yeah.
Matt will take some tequila. If there's like a little emoji teddy bear, go ahead and drop that in there. That'll make me feel good as well. So like the post, give us some stuff, give us some love in the comments. Let's go over some quick testimonials from last week. April here got her first sale. April Kaiser, I just learned about ShineOn last week. Immediately joined the platform, made my first design yesterday, starting running ads last night around midnight, got my first sale a few hours later. I absolutely love it when you see somebody that's like completely brand new, watches a few videos, takes immediate action and gets a result, right? That's how easy this is. That's how transformative this can be too. That anybody, you can just come here, you can kind of orient yourself to the land, learn some basic lessons, get some ads up, and you can immediately start getting results. So it's absolutely amazing. Really excited to see where you go from here, April. Congratulations. Tammy from my team will be reaching out. You've got some swag coming your way. Raphael, not bad for my new Etsy shop. This is the results after 1.5 months. So, 45 days, $1,400 in revenue. Congratulations. Looks like that's primarily in the Christmas buying season here. Congratulations for a brand new Etsy shop. That is pretty awesome because Etsy, it takes, 90, 120 days for that SEO to really kick in. So congratulations. Thanks for sharing. You've got some swag coming your way. Sandy's first metal art sale, most expensive one, to $273 in revenue off of this single sale on $4 spent. So do the ROAS math on that. I don't know what it is, but it's a big number. Congratulations, Sandy's. Thanks for sharing this. He's saying looks like we've got some discrepancy here in the picture. So I don't know what the revenue was. $140 is probably the accurate one here. Still though, first metal art sale. If you guys aren't doing metal art yet,
Facebook.
Yeah, I know. If you aren't doing metal, it looks like what they do, double it maybe. I don't know what they did.
Yeah.
Well, this is in dollars. This is in USD. I don't know what's going on here. If you're not doing metal art yet, we just launched it this week. People have been waiting for it forever. The post got tons and tons of engagement. Metal art is going to fly off the shelves. I have it on very good authority. It's a best-selling product. Ronnie McKenzie has hit super big numbers with it. In fact, we've had a number of ShineOn sellers that have done giant numbers with metal art in the past. It was a highly requested product, and we've got a ton of designs for you. I think we started with the top 15 or 20 designs that our supplier knew about, and then we've got a Valentine's Day design I'm going to show you in a minute that we know is selling really well right now if you want to jump on it. So anyways, thanks for sharing this, Sandy's. You've got some swag coming your way, and good work taking some action on the metal art because I mean it's only been live since Monday. So congratulations. All right. If you want some free swag, every week we draw 2 to 5 posts from the group. We're looking for testimonials, posts with screenshots, tips and tricks, things like that. Drop your post in the group. If you get selected, you'll have some swag coming your way. All right. Before we get to the latest news, everybody thought I forgot, didn't you? Actually, I did forget. But don't worry, crisis averted. I remembered now. We're going to do the toast, the digital marketer's toast. So raise up your glasses, mugs, bottles, and flasks. Join me now. Here's to more conversions, more cash, cheap CPMs, and lower CACs, to higher CTRs, much higher CVRs, to enable ad accounts and big bank accounts, to upsells, downsells, and cross-sells, to winning products, I'm trying not to look, and repeat sales, and to the thing that even your grandmother knows, the riches are in the niches, but also your email flows. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Drink up.
Right,
cheers. Told you I got a little bit of brain fog going on today.
I think you did well, though, right? For not looking, I think you did good.
Well, I did remember it, but I almost forgot it, which would have been a catastrophe of epic proportions. All right, latest news. We'll roll through these quickly. So some new products that launched. I believe this was last Friday, so almost a week now. We've got Eternal Hope necklace. That's this one right here. Look at the size of this freaking stone in the middle of it. It's absolutely massive.
Wow.
And it really raises the perceived value of the item. That's the magic there. So we're seeing pretty high AOVs on this product. If you pair this thing with the right message card, I'm sure you could probably get $79.95 off the hero product here. And that's with, maybe even a little bit more with that Luxe box. I mean, you might be able to hit $89.95. Not really sure. You're going to have to experiment, but we're seeing really high AOVs with this thing. We also launched the Rose Petals as add-ons. So 500 Rose Petals is an add-on. You can do this on the platform or in the app. All you got to do is go add it to the product. Make sure you're using our product templates. And if somebody orders these, they'll ship out with the product. So that's a nice touch for Valentine's Day, kind of rounds out the gift. And then finally, we've got the CZ studs. We've got clear cubic zirconia studs, kind of like what you're seeing here in the picture. But we also have some red ones that look really good and go well with Valentine's Day. I recommend, any hero item you're selling that's got cubic zirconia in it, add the studs, because the take rate on it is really high. It just rounds out the gift. People want to get the complete set. So go ahead and add that. It's pretty cool. Did you know we had the Rose Petals, Matt?
I did not know. That's huge.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking cool.
I just took a note of that to send to my team after this.
You can probably sell these. I think our base cost on it's like $250, but you could sell it for at least $5 or $5. I think you could probably get $750 out of it.
That's cool.
Honestly. So yeah, pretty cool. We're working on a teddy bear. It's just not quite ready yet. But once that teddy bear is here, watch out. That's all I'm gonna say. We also launched metal art. So this came out on Monday. Again, super popular. Go check out the post. It got tons and tons of engagement. People are all over this. We're already seeing lots of sales coming in on the metal art. We've got some designs kind of like this Amazing Grace one that's not customizable, but then we also have some monogram type designs where you can add initials. Here you can put like a house number. Here you can put like a name and a date, things like that. So, I mean, it's great for like new homeowners gifts, anniversaries, wedding gifts. Mother's Day is going to be absolutely massive with these, because you got these like tree of life type designs, that celebrate the family. It's going to be massive, absolutely massive, especially for Mother's Day and Father's Day. And don't forget, there's this whole evergreen component to it as well, where like, a lot of men have kind of their man caves, and people that are into Harley Davidsons, gearheads, that kind of thing. I mean, metal art is going to absolutely smash for those kinds of people. And we'll have more and more designs right around the corner. I wanted to talk about the Valentine's Day designs right here. These are just 3 we wanted to feature for Valentine's Day. If you look here, I know it may be kind of tiny on the screen. I'm going to get Matt and I out of the way. Matt, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. The audio is coming through. Just to make it a little bit bigger, this guy right here is selling really well for Valentine's Day. It's this little infinity thing with the heart and the names on it, selling super well on Valentine's Day. So if you're looking for a place to kind of get started and you want to know, hey, what's already working for other people, that one's doing pretty well. So highly recommend, blast that out to your email list, put it on your store, try it in some ads, put it up on Etsy, see how it does. Dude, what do you think about the metal art? Have you done print-on-demand metal art before?
I tried it through. I won't say the company's name, but I tried it through a company a while ago, and it was just a mess. So I like that you guys have. It was a mess to like get going, and everything was manually approved and all this
With
different
the company.
stuff. So, with the company, yeah. So it was a non-sustainable process, and we're talking about me process. I just didn't like it, and I think this is a great way of doing it. It's not what I had experienced was not the only reason I wanted to do it because I knew it was a good product. So it's not a bash on the product. I think this is exciting for a lot of people. And yeah, we can definitely talk about how I would approach a lot of this stuff, but this is an exciting space and it will help supplement people for the evergreen kinds of mentality. It's like, I mean, there's the one thing off the top of the mind is like, you can target people who have recently moved. So if you have a brand new house, right? Like you probably want to put, I moved into this house a year ago. I'm still buying stuff. So like, this is the kind of stuff that you can do really, really well with. I might actually buy one of these for myself. It's pretty cool.
I want to get a coffee with Michael, piece of metal art and put like a little LED lights or something behind it. We're actually trying to get like a light kit as an add-on item for this, so that kind of it will illuminate on the wall or wherever people hang it.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, also as an add-on item, we have a magnetic wall hanging kit that people can buy. I think that adds another $5 to your profit. I can't remember the selling price on it. But I agree with you. We've made this super easy, right? So we already have the designs up. All you got to do is go add the design to your store. If you have a Shopify store, we actually give you the product template. So you can just use our product template. It's already got the personalization fields and everything built right into it. So, I mean, it's just plug and play.
Yeah.
In the future, like where we're headed with this, and, the goal is to get there this year. We're going to have to see. We really want to get to a place where people can give us their custom designs, right? So we've already got, you're looking at 15 here. 18 right here. We've got about 100 of these like pre-made designs already that we're going to be bringing to people. We want to get to the place where people can give us their custom designs, right? But there's a whole kind of what Matt was alluding to. There's this whole process because metal art's a little tricky. You can't have any floating pieces in your design, right? Everything's got to be connected. And then even with the connections, it's got to be thick enough that the piece isn't going to bend or anything like that. So there's a whole process we're going to have to work out on our back end to make that work. So we're trying to figure that out. We hope to bring something like that to you by the end of the year. But anyway, cool. Really excited about this one. Excited to see what everybody does with it. Okay. Don't forget, we're launching the Lead Up to Love Challenge. So if you missed the 100 challenge, the stats on it were absolutely amazing. Shoot, I just read them last week. I'm already forgetting. It was something like, I think over 150,000 SKUs from 1,200 people. And then I can't even remember the revenue. The revenue numbers were absolutely insane. It was millions of dollars. These 1,200 people did absolutely amazing. So it was incredible. So if you're brand new and you're wanting to get in on a challenge, you want to get to meet some other people who are on the journey with you. You want to have some accountability with others. If you want to find some people you can bounce ideas off of, or a real supportive group if you get stuck or something like that, you want to join this challenge. It's completely free to join. Registration closes on January 28th. If you want to join, go to this bit.ly link here. I'm going to add this to the Facebook post. So you can just click the Facebook post and you'll be able to go join the challenge. It's led by Tammy. Tammy is our head of community experience here at ShineOn. She's absolutely amazing. She led the 100 challenge. People absolutely loved it. So go join the challenge. And then finally, hopefully this is finally getting really close. If you want to join our coaching, go to coaching.shineon.com. Kirsta leads that. Jim kind of is in the background supporting it. I'm kind of in the background supporting it, though not in a huge role. Zappy's in there interacting with people. And the latest tips and tricks, what we're learning, all that stuff goes right here in the group. So if you want that, go check it out, coaching.shineon.com. And then finally, if you want some free content, we put a shot of espresso out in the group along with the Coffee with Michaels literally every single week. The shots of espresso are like little PDF guides. So whatever our media buyers are learning kind of on the edge of the kingdom here, they put into these PDF guides and they blast out to the world for free. So you're going to want to go check those out. And then finally, if you want to stay up to date on everything we're doing here at ShineOn, because it's a freaking lot, at the top of the Facebook group, there should be a button. It's called Featured or Announcements. It depends on how Facebook's feeling that particular week. Click into that, and it's anything that we've ever posted in the group that we marked as an announcement is in that section, right? So all the new product releases, the new feature releases, the coffee with Michael's, the shots of espresso, all of it lands right there. So if you ever want to get caught up or make sure you're not missing anything, go check that out. It's a real easy place to reference all of that. Okay, man. As always, you've been a really good sport.
Yeah, I gotta say, the first one was super long. I think the last one was short, and this one was somewhere in between. So
yeah, well, the first one,
Bearstown or whatever. Yeah,
what's that?
Goldilocks or whatever. What's the kid's story? Or
it's just the Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
Well, the first one was right at the beginning of really the December run. I think it was in November maybe. And
for sure.
We were just pushing so much out. It was rough. I felt bad for you. I mean, I think you and Tiffany were waiting for like 35 minutes. And I was out of breath by the time we got to it. So, okay, man, you did $1 million in revenue in 30 days, print on demand. You just did another 50K in ShineOn products on one of your new stores. And you said you're kind of slowly and incrementally adding things into your store. You're really big into you're building brands, right? You're not surfing. We call them, what do we call them? Seasonal surfers, right? Holiday surfers, where there are people in the print on demand space that show up 60 days before big buying holidays and they try to find a winner, right? But that's not you. You're all about kind of the brand. Can you kind of share your perspective on that a little bit?
Well, it's going to be easy for me to say something like this because I'm maybe in a different position in life than some people, but I don't need the income, right? So it's really cool to have to pay myself and on a daily basis or whatever like that. But I grow brands for the need of not for the need, but for the desire to grow and sell. Right. So I sell, my plan is to sell the brands that I'm growing. So I think of everything that I do as an asset growth. Right. I do basically I take a net profit at the end of the year. I either pay myself if I need it or I reinvest it into the company. And like I said, I got tons of people that work for me. Right. I support that store that I sold had 30 people that worked on it. Right.
Wow.
Right now we have we just hired another person. So it's 14 between the stores. So that's my goal is I'll eventually, I know that my asset is growing at the same time I'm paying people, I'm reinvesting into the company. And I see long-term vision. I'm in a different place than a lot of people. Right. But I think even if you are looking for the cash flow, right. Or you need to pay bills and stuff like that, you can still do it in a way that builds that brand. Right. You still should look at every opportunity you can to make something smoother on your potential customer or your customer, because the customer experience that you're doing, it's going to make it easier for you to sell not only the first time, but the second time, the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time. ShineOn does this extremely well, right? They allow you to do white label branding or the phone number that you can call if you have a ShineOn store, right? These are things that cost money but provide a better experience, so they increase your conversion rate. It takes a while for you to implement a lot of these things, but you can start from day one and do that. And there's no possible way, in my opinion, one of the $2 million is the most I've ever done on a single store in a month. Right. So you don't do that back to back to back to back without taking those steps. Right. You can hit a one-time run right before Christmas, but how do you do $2 million in June? Right. Or $2 million in an off month. Right. Yeah. That's through reaching people in different areas, different touch points, different email, SMS, all the different stuff that a real brand does versus what like you said, the holiday people will do. Right.
I just love how, there are just so many people in this space that view this as a cash grab.
Yeah.
And you're making your focus, your vision is more long-term.
Yeah.
You're playing the long game, right? And it's kind of just unusual in this space. I mean, honestly, part of that I think though is too like if you look at the progression of people that come into ecom, almost everybody starts with drop shipping. It seems like anyway.
Right. For sure.
And drop shipping is kind of a cash grab. Like lots of people aren't really looking to build brands or anything like that. They're trying to find their winning product. And they're trying to sell as much of it as they can before the market's saturated with it, basically, or the supply chain breaks down.
Right.
Then, the next step, the next kind of natural evolution in that, I feel like, is print on demand. However, I think people underestimate the power of print on demand. I think your story is pretty is a great example of that, because you built an asset around your print on demand brand, right? And then you sold the business, you sold the asset for a big return. So I just appreciate that you've got kind of this, your vision is more long-term. Yeah. So I have a question for you just on the business side of things. You said you had 30 people working for you. Now you got 14. How many of those people are like full-time versus part-time and like VAs?
All VAs. VAs, I had a couple of people working for me in the United States, but one of the things which separates me from a lot of people too is I do this all from my house. I'm sitting in my house right now. I've done everything that I've done out of my house. I left the corporate world where I knew that I don't mesh well in a corporate world environment, in the office environment. I'm much more productive here at home, and I've always ran my businesses virtually, right? I think you can run obviously 20 million plus year businesses virtually. So they were all virtual assistants. I had some people in the United States. I started putting people in time zones. So I'd have people over in Europe. I'd have people in the United States, and I'd have people in the Philippines. And that way somebody was always live, right? So I started doing it because when you're doing that much volume, sales you could wake up with $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 in sales, right? So it's all those people overnight. So, it's the model works, right? It's about supplementing the different needs, right? So Slack is a huge tool. Zoom is obviously a big tool that came up. All the different needs to make your team work that you might not need in the corporate world. You started having to put those things into place. So they're all virtual assistants for the most part. Some people in the United States making quite a bit more. But my people in the Philippines are all doing very well for the Philippines too. And then the position is either full-time if it demands it or part-time if it demands it. It's about making sure it fits, right? You don't need like a full-time uploader, right? But you could have somebody part-time coming in 20 hours a week, uploading everything. Because I'm always a quality over quantity kind of guy, right? I'm not trying to just throw things into the store. I'm doing strategic, adding to the store. So 20 hours a week was more than enough. And then designers, 40 hours a week probably for detailed designs and stuff like that. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah,
it does.
Do all of this. I didn't want any inventory. I didn't want any like office. I didn't want any of that when I left, and I made it work in spite of all that, right?
I would love to have you back on sometime and actually just talk about structure, right? How you approach the process, the systems, all that. I think it's probably going to be a little advanced for a lot of our audience. So I'd kind of almost want to plan that as like its own day. But here, let's shift gears a little. Let's start talking about Valentine's Day, right? So first, let's just talk about how you think about Valentine's Day and your approach to it. And then I kind of want to start getting into, keep in mind, a lot of people that watch this, they're relatively new, or they're just getting up.
Sure.
I want to kind of go through some of the fundamentals as well. So you, Matt Schmidt, you got your 3 brands. What are some big things you're thinking about to take full advantage of the Valentine's Day holiday?
So I look at Valentine's Day, what the best thing to do, just start from a basic understanding of what Valentine's Day is, right? And this will super help anybody that's brand new, especially just understanding why somebody would potentially buy from you, is that you are solving a problem for them, right? So what problem could you possibly solve with a necklace or a piece of metal art, right? You're giving someone the opportunity to show their love and appreciation for someone else, right? So that's what we talk a lot about, is like understanding that basic point, because you have to speak to those people through your design, through your product description, through your ad copy, and all those different things. So you have to understand why these people would potentially buy from you, and what are you potentially selling, right? So you're selling that fix to that problem. Sort of a first world problem for sure, but it's still a problem at its very core, right?
Sure.
And every husband's probably going through this in their head right now, or boyfriend or whatever. Like I'm sitting here in the back of my mind, like, oh, what day is it? Oh yeah, I got to buy something for my wife for Valentine's Day pretty soon. Like
you got 10 days early. People start panicking on February 1st.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, but eventually that panic sits in, and that's a good rush of sales right there, right? You're like, oh God, I forgot. So that's the problem you're fixing, and you're also selling the emotion on the other side of that, right? So that you're the person who's going to open up that box, right? They're going to open up that box. They're going to see that product, and they're going to feel those emotions. That's what you want to tap into. That's the opportunity that you have in front of you. Now, for Valentine's Day, Valentine's Day specifically, it's not very different from any other day. It's just like a concentration of those emotions, right? So what I see, that one thing that might different from me versus somebody else that might do this is I don't particularly like selling Valentine's Day specific designs. Even the ones that you showed with the metal art, right? Those could be sold any day of the year, right? They just happen to fit Valentine's Day really well because it's the shape of the heart, right? But you could sell that shape of the heart thing for Mother's Day. You could sell it for anniversary. You could sell it for anything. So what I tell our students to do, and what I really recommend, is focus in on what actually matters in this day, and it's that love and appreciation. Because if you tap into to my wife from my husband, and you come up with a really good design, they're probably then it's great that you have the rose petals. Now the rose petals are there, so that really helps, right? But you don't need that message card to say anything Valentine's Day related to it, because it's super hard at the beginning to find that first winner. So what I would rather see anybody that's brand new is see them find a winner that they could sell after Valentine's Day too.
Yeah. So let me repeat back to you what I'm hearing. You tell me if I'm on track here. You're basically saying that create something so that if it does sell well for Valentine's Day, you can sell through Valentine's Day and keep on selling it, for anniversaries over summer, again during Christmas or whatever. You don't want the message itself to say something like Happy Valentine's Day, where it pigeonholes you into this, one particular holiday. But if it's just to my wife, soppy, sentimental, romantic phrase, love your husband, right? You can sell that all year long. It just so happens that a product like that will sell really well for Valentine's Day.
Exactly.
As well.
Yeah, because you remember one important concept is meet people where they are. They're going to be in this news feed. You're going to catch them off guard. You're going to catch a lot of husbands that are like, oh crap, I do need to order something for Valentine's Day. But it's not going to be necessarily the only thing that they buy, which is why the rose petals, the earrings, everything makes sense, because it's not the only thing they're going to buy. They're probably they're going to buy a holiday, like a Hallmark card, and they might buy some roses. So it instantly still becomes a Valentine's Day gift. They're not reliant upon you. So I stress that to it, because one of the hardest things to do in this business is to find your first winners. And I'd rather see a new person not have a winner that they could sell for 2 weeks and have something that they could sell for 2 years. Right. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Because if it works now, you could go revisit it on Mother's Day and sell the same thing again, because it works into the same interest. I do that year round, every single year. I've been doing that for 6-7 years, where I reuse things on occasion because they sell, they sell year round. And that gives me the ability to have those $1 million to $2 million months.
My favorite niche is probably the husband to wife niche. Mainly because it crushes for, especially in jewelry, because it's for a number of reasons. First of all, men have no idea if a jewelry item is reasonably priced or not, right? So when they see something,
so secondary too, yeah, right, yeah.
When they see something with a giant sparkly bedazzled stone on it and it's less than $100, most men are like, sweet, sign me up, right? And also it keeps them from having to go to a store, right? So it solves like a few other problems, a couple layers, a few layers further down. It also, most men are just not good at the whole writing.
Absolutely.
putting words to their feelings. So you do that too with the message card. They get it for under $100. They get it delivered to them in the mail, right? So it's like kind of like, what more could you ask for? It's the husband to wife stuff in particular. It smashes during Christmas, which is amazing. It smashes during Valentine's Day, where you'll really see the male buyers pick up steam. Is truly it's February 1st. Most men right now don't even know that Valentine's Day is less than 30 days away. They haven't even thought about it yet. But I guarantee you, February 1st is going to hit, and everybody's going to panic. They're going to go, oh crap. This is the month where there's Valentine's Day, and they're going to have to go out and buy a gift, right?
Yeah, if you could be strategic about it, like hit the women now and the men in about 10 days. Yeah, because the women are better planners than the men are, for sure.
So it crushes for Christmas, it crushes for Valentine's Day, and then you have probably from May to, I don't know, September, where it's like just anniversaries, right? And weddings and stuff like that. So for me, it's always been my favorite niche. But the thing is, one of the keys is on my message cards, it doesn't say Happy Valentine's Day, right? It's exactly like what we're talking about. It's more evergreen than that. It's to my gorgeous wife, then a soppy phrase, and then love your husband. And that'll sell all year long, year over year, forever, right?
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. If you have we have a huge list, right? So when I say that, I'm mostly speaking to the people that maybe don't have a huge list, right? And what are you going to run in your ads? That's a key differential. What I call a lead item, right? What am I leading with? Now, I have Valentine's Day designs that I just put into an email and then blast out to the huge list that I have, and then they buy it up. But I'm not dependent on that thing having a return on Facebook, right? That's a total different scenario. So for you more advanced guys, yeah, I mean, what does it cost? It costs you a little bit of money to make a design. You could hit it out there, you solve a problem, and it's good. It's gone. You can remove it from your store if need be. But for you new guys, think about. I always think I've probably referenced this on the last 2 calls. It's Moneyball, right? I'm up there trying to hit as many singles and doubles. If you've never seen the movie, it's a great movie, but it's how people started winning in baseball. Everybody thinks they're going up there for like this grand slam, right? So for this instance, you're like, I need this grand slam Valentine's Day one, where you could go up there with the intention of like, I'm going to hit some doubles and singles. And by the way, one of the times it's probably going to be a grand slam, but it's much more reliable for you to have somebody just cranking doubles than it ever would be to hit that rarity, right? So if you're always trying to hit the rare thing and you're always starting back from zero versus just getting those wins that you can use year round, like I'm talking about. By the way, like I said, if you do it right, they can be still home runs and grand slams and all that. So hopefully that makes sense. I know when I say that, a lot of times people are like, I've never seen that movie, but the concept of baseball is, load the bases, drive people in, but don't always, swing for the fences.
Yeah, I mean, the quick 30-second recap of the movie is everybody was going for baseball players that had these amazing stats and could hit home runs and all this stuff. And some little dweeb in a backroom office that nobody paid attention to goes, wait a minute, shouldn't the goal here just be to get on base?
Exactly.
If you get enough people that can get on base, you're going to get a bunch of runs, right? That was like the whole kind of concept of the movie. And that's all you're saying too. You're saying, don't go for the like one product that just crushes on the holiday. Just try to get on base a bunch with a bunch of different products. And some of those will crush it for holidays.
Exactly. I mean, with that methodology, don't get me wrong, like with that methodology, I have ad sets that I have spent over, like campaigns that run year round. This is on my prior store that I sold, but they were products that I sold year round that just went up there, you hitting single, but they would have millions of dollars worth of ad spend on them. And because it was just an evergreen product that could sell forever, but I wasn't like swinging for the fences. It just happened to be so. But you can have one of those, you can have a couple more of those, you can have a couple one, and then all of a sudden now you're just the tide is lifting, right?
I like that.
Which is, by the way, what big companies do. It's not like AirPods, which are now like bigger than most companies, right? That's just the brand of AirPods. They didn't like go there just thinking, you know what, we're gonna just, hopefully this is a one-shot kill. We're gonna, no, they created something they knew had broad appeal that they could run forever. They probably had no idea of, actually they're pretty good at it. But as I say,
how that went. They had some product
now
meeting there at Apple.
If it divided into its own company, it would be bigger than most like Fortune 100 companies or something crazy, right?
Absolutely massive, man.
Yeah.
You know that they had some product meeting there at Apple, and some guy was looking at this freaking travesty of a thing they did with their phones where they took away that audio jack.
Yep.
And they said, this is so freaking annoying. How do we solve this? And some guy goes, dude, let's make headphones that Bluetooth into the thing. And we'll do it with Apple. We'll call them something fancy like an AirPod, and we'll put our little logo on it, and we'll sell them for like $300 a set.
Yeah. I mean, if AirPod annual sales,
It is insane. I've looked at
$10 billion of its own. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
So that guy probably got a promotion. Yeah.
So, hey, let's talk a little bit about how do you approach like phrases, right? So we kind of got your general strategy here for like going after products, avoid the happy Valentine's Day thing. You probably don't want like a picture of Cupid or something like that on the message card where it's going to tie it too much to the holiday itself. So we kind of got that. But then how do you go after phrases, right? Like, how do you know which phrases we're testing? How do you know what a good phrase might be? How do you think about all that?
Yeah. So, I mean, the easiest way of somewhat of a validation if a phrase is good, right, is I call it social proof or sales proof. Do you have an ad? Like we all see them, right? Especially if you start playing around and you start visiting a couple of sites, you're going to start getting these ads. And if one has like 50,000 likes on it, that's probably a pretty good one, right? The assumption being, things don't really go viral anymore, right? Because it's a pay-to-play platform, let's be honest. So if it has 50,000 likes, unless the guy is very, very, very bad at his numbers, that's probably got some good money behind it, right? And it's making them a good ROI. So there immediately you can make some determinations there. And then the sales proof would be obviously the gold standard of that, right? Because that's where people, it's like you can like something, but if you didn't buy it, that's a whole nother thing, right? So if you actually have proof that somebody bought something, rankings on Amazon is a good one to do. The ASR ranking gives you a general idea, or just simply reviews.
ASR, Amazon sales rank.
Yeah, Amazon sales rank.
Yeah, you can, just for anybody who doesn't know, if you go to an Amazon product and you scroll down to where it's got, I think it's description, product details, something like that. Yeah. It'll actually tell you the sales rank of the product in the category it's listed in. Anyway,
and there's sites you can plug that in and it'll show you kind of like an idea, right? But my general rule is like, hey, look, if this has a lot of reviews, then, how many people actually leave a review? It's probably less than like 1 out of 10, right? So if you have 1,000 reviews on something or 100 reviews on something, do the quick math, understand that that's a pretty darn good sales number. But the one thing I would stress to people is don't be like one of those people that just copy that and then put it onto another site. The one thing I could say for a message card is that it has possibly message card like phrase, the concept of what we do here with ShineOn. It possibly has the most flexibility for and ease, I would say too, of creating something unique, right? So I come from the t-shirt world where creating a design and a concept around a t-shirt is actually harder than people most get credit to, right? Unless you just do a text-based design. But if you're doing like color aspects and blending words with images and these different things, it's actually kind of hard to really into your niche relative to a message card. I shouldn't say it's not that hard, but it's harder than I would say a message card. The easiest way to do with a message card is rewrite it a couple of times. Understand again what problem is being fixed. What are we looking at here? What emotions are we tapping into? You take a concept of a phrase and then take that original one and rewrite it a couple of different times. Also understand, and I think I posted this in the ShineOn group too, is if you have something that's super long, the easiest win is to try to shorten it down a little bit, down to like a onesie, twosie, maybe 3 sentences, because meeting people where they're at, Facebook newsfeed, man, Instagram newsfeed. If anybody hasn't watched The Social Dilemma, people's attention spans are nothing. So if you present them a very long paragraph to read, you're going to lose people, right? You might have a couple of people that read it, but you're overall generally going to lose people because people's attention spans are only a couple of seconds.
I actually I forgot about this. I remember you bringing this up on the last call too. That, one of your unique approaches to coming up with a phrase. So just for anybody who kind of missed that, Matt was saying first you kind of look out, Etsy, Amazon, in your own Facebook feed at the ads you're seeing or whatever else. You look out for like social proof, sales proof, some indicator, some signal in the noise that particular item is doing well, right? So that's kind of step number one. Step number two, you take that phrase, right? Keep in mind, for anybody that's new, we say around here, it's the phrase that pays. If they cry, they'll buy. It is the message that sells all of it, right? It's not the design, and it's not the jewelry item. Those are complementary. It is the phrase. Like 90% of what makes a product sell is the phrase. So if you're going to spend 100%. Your time on anything in particular when it comes to this whole process, you want to spend your time trying to dig for gold when it comes to phrases. So Matt's saying, step one, look for some signal in the noise. Step number two, take the phrase that's on the product, and you don't want to just copy and paste the phrase, right? Because if you copy paste the phrase, look, Facebook in particular, they're so smart now. They're going to know you're running, like the algorithm, it's reading the images, right? Like they're going to know you're running basically the same product as this other guy. They're going to give him preference over you, right? So you're going to be competing against this other guy. And keep in mind, the other guy's pixels already optimized. Facebook's probably already rewarding him with lower CPMs. He's already got some money coming in, so he's just doubling down on those ads. Like you're not going to be able to compete, or if you can, it's going to be difficult, right? It's going to be an uphill battle. What Matt's saying is take the phrase and try to make it unique or try to make it your own. And one of Matt's methods for doing that is he rewrites the phrase. So you take the phrase, and we're not saying copy it word for word. That's not what he's saying. He's saying take what it says and rewrite, kind of put it in your own words, write it a different way. Try to figure out kind of the punchline in the phrase and keep the essence of the phrase true, but try to kind of make it your own, right? And then once it's unique, you might have something that can fly. Is that roughly what you're saying?
Yeah. And guys, it's like a muscle, right? And working out, like you're going to get better at it over time. It seems daunting at first, but Michael's 100% right. Like if you take an image and put it on Facebook and try to run that image, or even a concept, Facebook reads. I mean, we all thought this was a theory, and then I always reference this event. Michael, you were around at this time, but they had this glitch in Facebook's newsfeed where they showed us the metadata of the images that people were uploading. Were you around at that time?
I don't remember this.
It was like a 24-hour period. So anybody that's new has never heard this before. I talk about it all the time because we all had this theory.
What year was it?
I don't remember it, man. It was coronavirus and 2 kids. Time is a weird thing for me right now. But this is probably probably 2-3 years ago at this point. 3 years ago. It was before
I was around selling, but anyway, go ahead.
So it was like a 24-hour period that they had this weird glitch. And it was shortly after they bought that big, the company that can actually do like do what we're talking about here, right? Analyze an image, see what's in it. But how they know, like I was like, do they know that like if you put a picture of a baby on Facebook, then all of a sudden you start getting baby stuff, right? Like how are they making those determinations, right? So like I have one of the greatest examples of this is I have a Labradoodle, right? So very particularly looking type of dog. If I post a picture of him, I'll get images and ads with Labradoodles and stuff in it, right? So the thing is we always had that theory, and one of the utilizations of this is we thought that like they were combating people who were copying each other, because that was like the black market way of doing stuff. Is like find a winner, just rip it and upload it. So they figured out a way of combating it by analyzing the image and penalizing people that do that. So it literally is a penalizing. But the proof was they had this glitch and they showed us the metadata behind the images, and it would literally say like man, Labradoodle, park. Like so it'd be like me in the park with my dog, right? And that makes a lot of sense too, because like they're not perfect with it, right? So like your ads this is how your ads run too. So like your ads, if you run an ad to Labradoodles, you probably show up in like yellow lab news feeds too. because they're probably not like perfect with it, but they can get really, really close enough that they know that like these dogs are very similar, right?
If they can do the facial recognition stuff,
that's the word I was looking
like
for. Yeah,
bright light, low light, at different angles, with sunglasses on, with a hat on. If they can do that, they can read your freaking product, right?
Yeah.
Keep in mind that, you know, you used to remember when they had the rule where you couldn't have too many words in the image, right? Dude, the only way they know you got words in the image is they're freaking scraping it and reading it.
That's what I forgot about that. It's like, yeah, they obviously know. Also, they can detect if you put a curse word in there, right?
Yes.
You go put the F-bomb in your text on your message card and upload it and see how long it takes for it to be banned.
Yeah,
right?
good luck, right? This is also why you don't see you know, other things like nudity or violence and things like that in freaking ads and stuff. I mean, they have AI that like picks up on all of that stuff. I'm gonna share one thing. We'll get back on topic here real quick. But the spookiest thing I've ever seen with Facebook in particular was look, for a long time I've thought Facebook listens. Like, I don't know how. Like, if you have the app open, right? I'm pretty sure that in like just in the background, I'm pretty sure the mic is on and they're listening to conversations. Not entirely sure, but this is the spookiest thing that ever happened. I had a contractor in my house, and we've got this like wooden beam that runs across the ceiling of one of our rooms. And the previous owners painted the beam. They painted it like white, and we don't really like it. We're like, you know, what you could do is you could make it a feature. If you like, could get like the wood out and you could stain it, maybe a cool color. It could look really cool. So we're talking to this contractor about it, and he brings up, he said, you should case it in, right? You should case it in with other wood, and it'll look like a beam. No one will be able to know because you won't see the seams or anything in it. But basically that allows you to, rather than have to sand down all the paint, which is going to take forever, you just case it in with the wood of your choice or whatever. Dude, I never even heard of that before. The next day I got ads for like contractors that did casing, like wood beam casing. It was the most, the craziest damn thing I'd ever seen. Right. And I was like, that is it. They're listening. I know that they're freaking listening. I didn't Google this. I didn't talk about it with anybody else. I'm like, that's insane.
Yep. Anyway. Yeah, no, that is like the chances of that happening, right, are pretty slim. So I have a similar situation with at the start of COVID, my wife and I were thinking like, all right, we got to build our gym. I'm not going to gym wearing a mask and stuff like that. I'm just like, I did it one time and like I almost passed out because I'm pretty intense. So I'm like, I'm not doing this. So what are we going to do? And I said the word Bowflex. Right. And we're like, do we get a Bowflex? Has Bowflex got good stuff? I don't know. Maybe Bowflex has got stuff. Within an hour, I had ads for Bowflex in my newsfeed.
No way.
I'm like, and taken off guard. I'm like, okay, that's a big company, you know, but I'm like, I don't remember ever seeing Bowflex ads in my newsfeed prior to this. And then they were just in there for like the next week. They were just, they wouldn't leave. So
it would be pretty interesting.
Could be coincidental. Sure. Whatever. Yeah. It could have been total coincidence that, you know, it was almost like I visited a site and I was being retargeted, but sure, whatever. It was coincidence. It's not them listening. Mark, if you're listening, don't ban me, please.
It'll be pretty interesting to see if anybody watching this starts getting Bowflex ads.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If you do, leave a comment. It'll be funny to see here. So anyway, okay, we talked about kind of your general strategy towards Valentine's Day. We talked about kind of how to find messages that might sell and then kind of how to make them your own. All that's cool. I want to get into your favorite ad platforms, but before we do, how does metal art kind of fit into all this?
So metal art is great for a lot of reasons. The reason I was super excited for it is obviously it's very much more of an evergreen product if you put the right product in front of someone. I think you could catch anybody at any point in time with metal art, right? It doesn't have to be an occasion, right? So not to say the jewelry, if not done correctly, could be, I think it's something like 20 million people who have birthdays every single month, right? So there's always an opportunity for jewelry, and that's just birthdays. But metal art is one of those things too, that here's the biggest nuance, right? As I could buy metal art for myself. I always need a reason to buy jewelry for someone else, right? So that's the key difference here is now the situation, the buyer and the end user is what I call it for our students. I say, who is the buyer and who is the end user? When you're doing jewelry, the husband is buying it for the end user, who's the wife, right? So in this instance, you put the right piece of art in front of me. Like we got a house with this nice patio, and one thing I was wanted is a big S would look really, really cool. That's the one thing I was thinking about, right? So I was thinking about just buying that and putting that out there. It would look great out there. So I would buy it for myself. So that changes a little bit in your mentality. Also broadens instantly your audience because now you don't have to tap into relationships anymore. So this untapped thing suddenly becomes available for you, right? Like people who are maybe single is what I mean, right? So what do I do with it though? Here's the big, that's the big thing to really determine, especially if you have, individual products right now that are similar to the other products that are going to be flooding people's news feeds. Well, the gold standard for something like this, in my opinion, would be the person, and I'm just going to drop it here, but be the person who orders samples and puts it into video and runs video ads.
Yeah, totally.
So that's because I can say this on this call, and only a few of you are going to do it. So the few of you that do it are going to automatically stand out from all the images that'll be created, right? Also gives you the ability to run it on certain platforms that require video if you step it into there. So the one thing I would note too, right, is it's super limited. I don't know if you can pull it up really quickly, but we go from this message card with all this text down to a product that has just personalization into it, right? So a lot of the times, like you said, your message card here, when you have this message card, it's a good example right here. The message is what's doing the selling for you. On metal art, you're probably going to have to sell it a little bit more, right? If you're going to run ads to this, you're going to have to sell it a little bit more. And what I would do is possibly walk through the process for people, right? Tell them exactly what's happening here. The Tree of Life one is simple, but the ones with the personalization stuff, like you see this in some ads too, right? So pay attention to the stuff in your newsfeed on big ads that work well. But they'll say like, customize this to fit your new home, right? If you sell to the new home people. But like, imagine your wife getting a personalized sign. I'm just spitballing out of here, but with you and her's name on it, with your wedding date, right? Just that is the established one right there, right? So you kind of have to walk through the individual product and walk through the customer so they can envision it easily and simply in their mind. Again, sticking within that couple of seconds you got them, right? And then on the product page, I think your guys' preloaded copy does this really well too. So that's the one nuance of this is you're going from a product with the message doing the selling down to you possibly doing the selling.
I actually think it's a really good call out. So if you could just contrast like what Matt's saying here, like if you run this image in an ad, right? And people can read the message, like your ad copy may not even matter, right? Like exactly. What you write in the ad, the offer, like none of that may even matter, right? Because if they see the necklace and the message, like kind of remember, it's the phrase that pays. If they cry, they'll buy. If the message moves them emotionally, right? There's a good chance they're going to buy it. But here you don't have that mechanism to get somebody emotionally engaged, right? Instead, you have to help them imagine it, right? And the best way to imagine it is probably going to be, and this is kind of what Matt was saying, kind of help them paint a picture of what it might be if they buy this item, right? And the best way to help them paint that picture is with your words, right? In the ad, I'd actually, I say with your words, I think I'm actually wrong. It'd be with video. It'd be with images.
Video would kill, right? For sure.
But also then finally with your words too, where you can say like, hey, your wife, this one here, you and your wife's or your you and your husband's first names plus the last name with the monogram and your birth date, right? It's like customize it with this stuff. Like you're going to have to help the buyer imagine the end product, right? So yeah, I think that's actually a really good call out.
And it don't take things like, I don't know if saying taking it for granted is the right word here, but like, don't assume that just putting customizable product in front of people. I see that mistake often. Don't assume that just saying customizable, you can customize this is spelling it out for people, like literally walk it out for people. Because again, it's not anything against us. We're all guilty of it. We're down to like a 4th grade level on our thinking capability on Facebook. Go watch The Social Dilemma. It's their info, not mine, right? But it makes perfect sense to people. Or it's perfect sense to me as a marketer when you understand that, like, hey, why didn't that ad work? It was like, well, it's might make sense to you as a product, right? You know it's customizable. You know that what they can do with it. But now make sure that the person you're putting this in front of the newsfeed knows, right? You got all this input, and then you're just kind of assuming that everybody else has that input. You're making a big mistake as a marketer, right? Yeah.
100%, man.
Yeah, man. I think it's a great product, man. I'm super excited, and I think you know what's going to crush really, really well for metal art that I think a lot of people don't appreciate is patios. And we'll have some good weather here soon where people are going to want to. Yeah, everybody's kind of like update. I was talking to Facebook the other day, our reps. I'm like, e-com sales January is like really, really slow. Is there anything like really killing it right now? And they said home renovation people are just absolutely killing it. Why? Because not only was it quarantine, but now it's winter. So now you're even the little you went outside, now you're even more inside. So everybody's updating the inside of their house. Well, what do you do when the weather improves? You start seeing the outside of your house. You want to improve that. So I'm really excited for metal art by summer for sure, and spring and summer.
Well, dude, sure. I mean, you've got like man caves, garages, small businesses. Even you don't really think about it. I mean, small businesses will be able to use their put their business name on it, and we'll have other designs coming soon. The patios, the front doors, above fireplaces. It's this thing can smash. I mean, I've talked to a number of sellers that have done 50 to 80K a month with these simple monogram type designs. And like I said, you're looking at 18, and we've got like something like 100 of them ready to go. We just didn't want to release them all at once because we felt like it would be too much for people. You know what I mean? They would have no idea where to start. So we tried to stick to the top 10 to 15 selling ones, and more will be coming down the road. But anyway, okay, so let's talk about your ad platforms here quickly. So, I know you're a big kind of Facebook guy. We're starting to see lots of success on TikTok. I know you've also got some experience with Google Ads. What are your favorite kind of go-to ad platforms?
We're experimenting over in TikTok too as well. It's taking a minute because we were trying to get. I had COVID not too long ago and started prioritizing what to do. But I got a rep over there now at TikTok and getting all the beta features and all this stuff like that. It's a pretty cool, exciting place to be. But I mean, to this point, the easiest and most technologically advanced place to do this business model is still for me Facebook and Instagram. Even with all the issues going on, right? There's solutions around that. We're in a different spot. We supplement with some tools to help us with our tracking. But I know in a newer person, and a person that's just getting going, probably I would say 50 or 100 less a month, the tracking is not as big of a deal. All platforms have tracking issues. As long as you go through the setup of the CAPI integration, which is I think ShineOn has some tools for you guys to make sure you do that. Prioritize your events. You'll track most of it, right? And the good thing is that you're all selling into really broad audiences, which actually it does help. Like the small guys that had those little niche stuff, that hurts. But these relationships are millions of people. Metal arts, millions of people. So your guys are good. You're set up for success. When you're spending, like we were spending 20,000 more a day, that's where you get tracking issues, right? So, but Facebook, Instagram is the lead. We are doing much more organic than we've ever done before too. So I see that as really popping off more lately is making sure that we're posting all the time, making sure we're engaging with people in comments, making sure we're doing all that. Building out our Facebook shops and stuff like that's really good for that platform too. Building a VIP group for our customers is a really cool way of doing it. And the reason I mentioned that, you asked me about ad platforms, all that stuff interchanges with each other, right? We're feeding the beast as much as we can, so to speak, Big Blue. Google is great for, there is no greater return on investment of any platform I've ever seen than the brand search campaigns on Google. It's kind of like, shouldn't I rank there anyway? Yeah, okay. But the realistic thing is, Google is going to put somebody else there if you don't buy that spot.
Yeah. So just for anybody that doesn't know, I mean, if your business is, if you're running Acme company, you want to be running ads for Acme, right?
Yeah.
Because then when somebody goes to Google and they type Acme products or whatever, it's your ad at the very top and not somebody else's. And the ROAS you'll get on that it's ridiculous. I've seen it 20x plus. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what ours are at. And you have to build it out for like the misspellings and all the different things. It's crazy, right? And then Amazon for us too is a go-to. And the reason that I have those is kind of like our trifecta at the moment. Now TikTok is probably I think this is kind of the year for TikTok to kind of take a lead in that scenario, or get into there. Maybe 4 is that the nature of pushing so much traffic on Facebook. And here's the truth too, is the older your niche skews, the more we find this is relevant, is that there's still a big distrust because a lot of people aren't shipping from ShineOn or POD suppliers like we use or stuff like that. And they're doing drop shipping. There's still a big distrust in companies on Facebook. Yeah. Now, big is a relative term because it used to be way bigger. Like the first time I was running stuff on this, whatever it's been, better part of 10 years ago now. The first time we ran ads in the news feed, people were like, this is a scam. Oh my God, I'm not buying from this. Now that's all calmed down a little bit. But what we noticed is that people still leave our Facebook ads. Then they go to one of 2 places. They go to Google the brand, hence the brand search, or they go to Amazon to see if they can get a better deal, right? And then there's some strong justifications to probably throw Walmart.com into the mix here soon too, right? So if you're going to throw so much traffic at Facebook and Instagram, then what you need to do is be on those other 2 places, in my opinion. And there's integrations for both of them. There's easy ways of getting yourself at least established there.
So that's probably for more advanced sellers that are doing.
Yeah, scale your way up there. Yeah. You don't need to even think about another platform, in my opinion, until you have. I mean, if you want to go TikTok, then go TikTok. If you want to go Facebook, Instagram, go all in on one platform till you're at least 6 figures a month. In my opinion.
And by the way, though, if you had to pick for like a new person, right, getting started, if you had to pick ad platforms to start with, like paid advertising to start with, I would recommend those would be the 2 that I'd recommend. Those are your 2 contenders. It'd be Facebook and Instagram or TikTok, right? Yeah. I wouldn't mess with Google Shopping or anything like that. Not for print on demand, right? Because you want those impulse purchases. You don't have to wait for intent based.
Google and Amazon are for us what I call residual traffic, right? Just as I said, like they leave our ads, or they see the ads and like, man, I can't remember. I saw some really cool shirt and I can't remember what brand it was. I think it was this brand. Well, boom, there it is. Brand search pulls me back in, right? So that's much more of the advanced level. You actually have to have people searching for your brand in order for brand search to work, right?
Yeah,
But the only difference between which one I would choose at this point with Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok is one absolutely requires video, right? So you're going to have the learning curve on this one on TikTok is much harder, in my opinion, right now. We're going to figure it out between all the people that are like going into this hard this year. We're going to simplify it. But this is where the video and having your product in hand and the time it takes to get it from ShineOn or from whoever, that's the only nuance there. So you can throw an image onto Facebook and Instagram and it'll sell, right? Just because that fits the platform. You can't do that on TikTok and work at the moment.
Some amount of this is generational a little bit too. And I just mean like, I'm more with you. Like my natural inclination is probably to go more towards Facebook and Instagram, but if you're young, if you're like in your early 20s and you've been doing this TikTok thing for 2 or 3 years, and you get the trends that are on it and the type of videos that work well, and you're used to making little home movies with your iPhone, it might be the natural place for you to go. I mean, you might actually struggle with like the ad copy and writing words and stuff, where, you know, this might be your love language. I think it probably depends for a little bit. I'm more with Matt, where Facebook, Instagram is probably my go-to. So Matt, let me, I'd like to talk a little bit about testing methods and testing strategies, and then we'll move towards kind of wrapping this up. So let's say somebody's followed your advice here. They looked for the signal and the noise on Amazon, Facebook, Etsy, wherever they're doing. Then they take the messages and they've rewritten kind of the messages a bunch of times, and they've got something that they think is unique and is their own, but is still powerful and kind of, you know, retains that kind of essence of whatever the emotional kind of punchline was before. So they've got kind of a power packed phrase now, and they're ready to test. So what are some methods here? Like what kind of budget, you know, what kind of audience do you worry about audience size? How do you approach kind of testing?
I definitely worry about audience size, right? You know, I would never target anything that's more than likely under 2 million people now. Why? It's just because it's the easiest way to help yourself combat some of the rising ad cost, right? You know, years ago we were looking for precise interests, and we would go after 50,000 people, and like that kind of stuff. You can't do that stuff anymore, right? So 2 to 5 million per ad set would be a good start. Now, that's not to say you couldn't do more, but if you were going to use an interest and not just broad targeting and some kind of relationship, there we go. So to make this as simple as possible, what I would say is you have to expect to spend at least the price of the product that you're selling is a good benchmark for like, should I keep this or should I not? Now, how you divide that into your comfortability level. Like we have people that are brand new. If you have $5 a day, this is where like you're a business owner and you need to make some business choices comes into play, right? So if you have $5 a day you can spend, then run $5 a day ads. But know that I'm going to recommend that you run that for at least 10 days, right?
You're saying like if the product you're selling is at $50.
$50, yeah. Right. Say it's a $50 product. The $49.99 message card.
You're saying spend at least 50 testing it, right?
Yeah, because you have to run.
If you only have 5 a day, run 5 a day, but do it for 10 days. So you get the full 50 spend on the product. Yeah.
And my preferred way is, if I had a preferred way for you guys that could spend $50 a day, I would say spend $25 a day, right? Because that way you get a little bit of the optimization over a period of day, and you get that second day to really maybe have a good running ad that gets some engagement, stuff like this. Because you have to understand, Facebook is I'm going to say, when I say this, you're going to be like, duh. It's a social media platform, right? So they are looking for, but a lot of people say that, and then I'm like, well, what does that mean? You got to remember that when you're running ads, because what Facebook is looking for, you are looking for sales. What Facebook is looking for is a good customer experience for their customers, right? For their users, right? So you need some hearts, some likes, some comments, some shares, some people clicking your site to your site. That gives Facebook the check that you are a good ad and you should fit in well into this platform, and that's why you get optimized. And then when we talk about having 50,000 likes, why that person wins over you is because that is a really good experience for Facebook, right? So they're rewarding you with optimized traffic. So back to the basics here. If you have, say, since we've been sticking with this, to my wife from my husband, you would build that out in a relationship. And if you were going to just run broad to that, right? To married men, to my wife, to married men, then I would use that image ad. I would talk to people about how, again, envisioning this. So like, imagine your wife receiving this kind of thing. Give them incentive of saying like, Valentine's Day is coming up, order today for fast shipping, those kinds of things. Maybe a discount if you got the coupon codes, and run that to see how those. The first important thing is link clicks. Right, you just do the easy math to say that your link clicks probably got to be around $1, right? but then the add to carts got to come in and the purchases come in. And that's a little bit more of a technical thing, but you're watching people come down the funnel. And then, we have a resource this on our site called What's Wrong with Your Ad, right? So you analyze like the basics of why somebody, if your link clicks are $5, like what's going on? Like it could be your targeting, could be your image isn't clear, your ad sucks in some fashion. And then kind of walks you through the mindset of figuring that out. And we can try to, I mentioned it without linking to it, but we can try to figure out how to get people to that. So
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So the pre-revenue metrics are your link clicks, your add to carts. And then ultimately you're looking to break even on like a day or so, if not better. I'm one of the few people, since I do have like that, I can see into the future kind of thing. I'm okay with like breaking even because I'm not looking for pulling a thing in a casino and money coming out, right? There's some time to this. If you break even in the first day or so, it's probably a pretty good product, and you just kind of watch that and see if that sales come in as optimization continues.
So you're saying, so I want to make sure I understood you right. So you're going to throw, if the selling price of the item is $50,
yeah,
you're going to throw $50 at it in a test. And
right.
Rather than, if the most you can do is $5 a day, then run $5 for 10 days straight. But you'd prefer, try to cut it up into bigger chunks because it's going to give your ad like momentum, right?
Yep.
Because you'll get some likes and some comments, and then Facebook will see like, oh, you're getting a lot of interaction in a short period of time. It'll help you kind of optimize.
Yep.
And here's really where my question is though. So you're saying you're looking to break even on that initial $50 in ad spend. Is that right?
I would say, yeah, if all the metrics are good and I break even, right? It's not if like you had one click for $50 and you made the sale, you happen to make a sale. Yeah. That's not what I'm talking about. But like, you gotta do, I say this stuff and you try to simplify this, right? And it's hard to simplify this, but like, you have to at least give yourself a little bit of time understanding what we call your numbers, right? Like what is your break even?
Yeah.
Like if you sell a $10 product, like costs from $10 from ShineOn, you sell it for $50, what return on investment do you need? It's like a 1.25, I believe, right? Or 1.2. So those are the kinds of stuff that you can't really like give to you over this webinar, but it's the things that you got to know, because otherwise testing is kind of irrelevant, right? Like you're just seeing if numbers are coming in, but if you scale without knowing if you're making money or not, then you're in for some trouble, right? You're in for, and it might work once, but it's not going to work over time. And you're just going to get you in. I've seen people, I'm speaking from experience here, where I've seen people dig themselves a pretty nasty hole because they were like, well, I'm making sales. I'm like, well, yeah, but you're losing a ton of money.
Yeah.
So it's like, we got to keep ourselves, we got to do a little bit of our math homework here to make sure we know where we're at.
Yeah. You don't want to be in a position where you're spending $60 to make 50, right?
Right.
Because you're going to lose.
Yeah. And another thing to do, like if you wanted to break it down even to like a simpler process and test a little bit of different things, a cool thing to think about is, you're not the only person. I'm gonna say you're not the only person people buy stuff from, right? So, what is my type of person that buys like a $50 necklace, $70 necklace, $80 necklace? Where else would they shop, right? And if you wanted to use interests in your ads, then I would use those as interests. Like, so you're like your Walmart, your Target, your Amazon,
I agree with this strategy wholeheartedly.
Yep.
People used to look at me cross-eyed because they'd ask me what interests I preferred when I would go on some of my runs. And I'd always say, like, I'm going like Big Lots. I'm like thinking of department stores. I'm doing fast food. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Fast food's a great one too. Yeah.
I'm doing country music, and I'm thinking about people like in more like rural settings where they might not have quite as much disposable income. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking country music. Fords, you know what I mean? Like, that's where I've targeted in the past. So
yeah,
I totally agree.
It works though, right?
It really does.
The people that would follow, you got to think about how Facebook builds those interests. So when you target Walmart.com, who is in there, right? It's the people they're going through the ads to Walmart's ads to Walmart, and then they get lumped into the interest of Walmart.com. So if that's kind of the price point, right? Those are going to be the people that respond really well to what is Walmart's thing? Rolling back prices, right? So those kinds of people, we can be really good responders to discounts and stuff like that. So it's like, it's again, meeting people where they are. I can't repeat that phrase enough. It's on every level. You got to think through that stuff. And again, it's complicated. I'm years into this thing, so I hope I'm not like losing people, but take your stepping stones and just kind of walk through that each piece of this, rewatch it a couple of times and add these things on over time. And then you can be like me, who constantly thinks about this shit nonstop.
I mean, what you said though it's not crazy, right? It's just about knowing the demographics of your buyer, right? I mean, that's really all you're saying. Like, kind of who is your buyer and how do you target them? I mean, that's the fundamental kind of questions you're answering there. So
and the other thing in reverse works well too, because I have a brand at one point that sold stuff at a premium, and I used premium brands, and it worked exactly in the opposite direction too. Yeah,
you're saying it worked for that as well, because people are going to buy a more expensive thing. They're also going to shop at more premium brands.
I mean, exactly.
Here's what I would say for anybody that's like maybe is listening to this whole thing and perhaps your head's a little swimmy or whatever. Look, we have so much content out there, free content. We have 10 gajillion Coffee with Michaels out there where we go over this stuff step by step. We've got the shots of espresso. You can ask questions in the group. We have the challenge. I mean, there's so many resources to kind of help support you along the way. I'd also like to mention if you go into the platform itself, we actually have a video mini course called How to Get Your First Sale, where we literally it's like 16 videos. We'll walk you through all of this step by step, so you're not lost. But I do want to talk about Matt. So look, I've really put my money where my mouth is. I'm sure Matt feels the same way. Like, I'm a big believer in investing in your education, right? And I'm well into a very healthy 5 figures and spend on my own education with coaching and courses and mentorships and masterminds and all that kind of stuff, because it's invaluable. Like the one master resource that none of us get back is time, right? That is like the one fundamental master resource that nobody gets back. But you can hack time with courses and coaching and things like that. I mean, that's really how I look at it. I mean, it's literally a shortcut to your success. You basically get to take advantage of the hard lessons other people have learned. You know, it take them years and years and years to learn. You get to take advantage of that, and you got to trade some money to do it. But the thing is your learning curve may look significantly shorter than theirs. See, you're essentially buying time. That's how I always look at it. Anyways, so I want to talk a little bit about Jewelry Profit. So Matt here has put together a course. I want to say it's almost course and coaching, because you do some live calls and things like that. But it's called Jewelry Profits. He built it entirely around ShineOn, which I think is really cool in particular. So the examples, the videos in the courses, it's about selling jewelry. It's about using ShineOn and things like that. So if you're wanting kind of a more of a step-by-step kind of process, you want somebody to really chunk it down and help you kind of go through things in modules and kind of learn how to climb this mountain. Jewelry Profits is a really great way to do that. So Matt, let's walk through some of these bullets here. I know we've done this a few times before, so feel free to spend as much or as little time on each of these as you want. So Jewelry Profits, it's 8-week masterclass. So it is drip content, right? Yep. So you get like, is it one module a week or one set of videos a week? Is that
one set of videos a week? Yeah. We're basically walking you through A to Z, how to do this from scratch, opening your all the accounts you need, ShineOn and Facebook, up to the Z being the last week, where you're scaling and where to grow your brand and how to make sure that people remember you going forward and shop from you again, right? So it's drip fed because, look, I might not look it, but I'm like actually 4,000 years old, and for about 3,000 of those, I've been teaching a lot of people, and we just get better results, and the students get better results when you can stay focused, right? And not because what happens inherently when you just give everybody all of these videos, They just blow through it and they're not absorbing it. And as much as I can speak to you, right, and try to teach you, it's the implementation that is what you're going to do. Just stop. We give you kind of like this is what you need to do now. Stop and go do that and implement it. And that's really where you're going to learn, right? You can't learn all of this just by me. I've now spoke to you on these coffee things for probably 6 hours. And it's not enough. You're never going to learn as much as maybe 1 hour of implementation. So that's really what we stress in the course. It's what we stress in the coaching. Our Q&A that we have, not to jump ahead, but we do a Q&A where I'm requiring you to come with questions that come from you implementing. I don't know. I don't want like, what's this in the course? I want like, I did this and I got this. What would you do? That's what I'm asking for. So I can actually help you out. So I jumped ahead a little bit there, but that's the course. It's drip fed. We're getting great results out of it right now. Even, some people going near $500,000 in a month, which is wild. And it's really cool to see everybody from getting their first sale, which I say is the hardest thing to do, upwards of the 500 a month.
Yeah. That's freaking amazing, man.
Yeah. It both. I mean, I kid with her and I say, hey, like, one of my students did $1 million in a day. So that's the target. and so everything under that is but it's amazing to see. I just kid with him because I'm always pushing people, but it's cool to see.
And, keep in mind too, again, Matt's whole approach, as you probably picked up throughout the duration of this coffee with Michael, is, he's building an asset. He's thinking long-term. He's about building a business. And if that kind of appeals to you, Jewelry Profits might click really well with kind of your style and where you want to go with the business. So anyways, it's 8 weeks, drip content. You've also got the done for you jewelry software, which is like, I always tell people it's like Canva for message cards. In a
100%. That's a great way of putting it. It's the easiest way. And if you don't know what Canva is, it's just simply, we made it as simple as possible to get, designs tested, even if you have zero skills at creating these on your own. And a lot of people have problems hiring people, which is completely understandable, right? So, part of this would be either you need to hire somebody, learn it yourself, or you could use this software, which does it, in 5 seconds. I've done this live. I've done it live on the call and screwed up, and it end to end still took me 3 minutes. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's like drag and drop. You'd have to see it. It's. I've used the software. It's really freaking cool, and that comes as part of the Jewelry Profits course here. So then you got the bonus. You got monthly coaching calls with Devin and Matt. We haven't really talked about Devin here. You may want to talk about Devin and his role and what you guys cover on these monthly calls.
Yeah. So Devin is my partner over at SCHMITT. He can come from just years of marketing experience. He's been selling everything under the sun. So we add him in there for the different perspective, and he's been listening to me now for 7 years. So he's absorbed a lot of it himself, but he's also the lead in overseeing the software, the do-yourself software, and some of the more technical stuff to help you out with us as well. And then I'm on there obviously for the e-com side of things. But it's great. They're great calls. We have a lot of fun. We had one, like I said, yesterday, and the coolest thing is like, again, we're hoping that you come to it no matter where you are in the course. So I say you're on week 1 or week 8. If you're asking a question of, I'm trying to do this and, what do I do? You're going to have people that also chime in that said, hey, I just did that. This is where you go. I saw that happen last night in our chat box last night, which is really cool because that's what we want out of it, is like a community of support, not just me up here preaching to you.
Yeah, I dig that. So then you've got the weekly coaching calls with Tiffany. It says she's a 30K day student. Is she broke that?
I believe she did. Yeah. I think we should update that. Yeah. I can't remember what it is, but I think she hit higher than that because that was from Mother's Day or Father's Day, one of the two. So absolutely destroying it. The intention behind that was she came up through the training and now obviously is doing crazy numbers. That's the person I was talking about with the 500 in a month. And it's another perspective for you guys. And the intention behind that was, I've been doing this for, like I said, 3,000 years. So, having somebody who's more fresh to it just gives another set of eyes to the problems or solutions, obviously, that could help somebody out. So it's just and she's super smart and like the nicest person that you've ever met. So she's a great add to the group for sure.
Yeah, and she's been in the Coffee with Michael's a number of times too. Yeah. If you look up Tiffany Coffee with Michael, you'll probably see 2 or 3 videos that she's been in. Okay, so we got the kind of the monthly and the weekly coaching calls here. Exclusive customer only Facebook group and mastermind. So this is like for the jewelry profits people. So if you buy the course, you also get into an exclusive Facebook group where everybody gets to hang out.
Yep. Yeah. Again, just you're surrounded by people who are in the same mindset as you. Obviously, we're not trying to take away from the ShineOn group, but that's centered around the product, right? Where we're trying to center around the content and the culture around the content and the training and things like that, and people helping people to go through this. We try to attack that culture and that support from every angle, just because I know it was so valuable for us coming up. Devin and I actually met in a Facebook group of our previous mentor, and it's just a really good asset for you as you build your business to have people who are not only like-minded as you, but also going through like the same material and implementation. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, truth be told, I've purchased courses just to get into the Facebook group before.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, there's tons and tons of value in those groups and the connections. You meet people. It's pretty cool. All right, so
Tiffany has a partner and they met in a Facebook group. So it's it happens all the time.
Yeah. All right. So another bonus, set it and forget it. Google Profits training. What is that?
Yep. Again, for the more advanced people, as you get through there, we want to show you how to utilize some of that residual traffic that we're talking about. It's very important, but it obviously requires you to have some of the things in the forefront, right, of that traffic from Facebook and Instagram, but to help you scale out. One of the reasons that I think that I did as well as I did over the last year at our level versus maybe some of my not competition, but my peers, is that we are not 100% centralized on Facebook, right? And a lot of people are. A lot of people that I know, even vets of years and years and years, were just Facebook, Instagram guys, and they never took the leaps over to the other platforms. So I think at a certain level of your business, it does get super important to scale out. But we put it in a more advanced section of it so we can keep you focused on growing and getting to that 50, 100 grand a month level.
Yeah, very cool. All right. So cash on demand email profits training. I know you do a lot with email too, because you again, one of the things I admire about you is because you're doing the long game. You focus on the whole customer journey kind of end to end. So tell us what this is.
Literally written by the person that used to run the emails. So I only say used to because she left with the store sale, but used to write all my emails. Super smart, gives you all the basics of like abandoned cart emails, upwards of like some ideas around flows and things like that could help turn the first sale into the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. If you want, just a FYI for anybody, if you want to sell your business, one of the first questions you are going to get asked is, what is your repeat purchase rate, right? How many times are people buying from you? How many was one customer? How many times do they buy from you on average? That's going to be asked. And the easiest way of doing that is email, right? And then we'll start talking about SMS and stuff here soon too. But email is critical for the long game. A little secret, that $1 million mark that I had, majority of that came through SMS and email, because while everybody else is battling over Facebook ads, don't get me wrong, we ran it. But anybody that knows how to run ads at scale during Black Friday, sky high cost, right? Just for that weekend, it's just super high. So instead of pushing all this money to maybe break even or whatever, all I did was just bang emails and SMS as much as I could.
It's fish in a barrel.
Yeah. Because they already love you. That's because if you sell them ShineOn products or you sell them quality stuff, they're going to love you, and you do it right, and you keep touching and reminding them who you are, then they're going to be like, oh man, Michael's store's running a promo. Boom, I'm back. And you're not going to have to pay that 20-30% to Facebook.
Man.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool. So, I mean, it's really kind of well-rounded here. That's kind of what I like about this. All right. 24/7, 365 world-class support. So I take it that, your Facebook group, if people have questions, whatever, do you have some support agents or what? I mean, what is it?
Well, so you can hit up, I mean, you test me on this theory. Send SCHMITT an email of a customer support and see how quickly it replies to you, right? Like, so we have people on all day long, every day, and we pride ourselves on having the best customer support out there. So we know that like our customers are all over the world. So we solve that solution, and we know that it's super important. A lot of the times it's very important for you to get answers now. So yeah, Devin and I sleep through the day, so you might not get us in like the Facebook group, but our customer support is going to be available for you almost, I'm 24/7, and they will reply to you almost instantly every single time. So that was a staple, and no questions had to be done, and we're happy to add that to it and offer that to people to help them out.
Yeah, very cool. So again, this is Jewelry Profits. It's a course, but I would say it's also a little bit of a coaching program as well. If you want to get it, you can go to jewelryprofits.shineon.com. Again, that's jewelryprofits.shineon.com. On the checkout page, there's a lot more information about the course itself. There's even some videos. So if you're interested, you can ask some questions there. I'm sure there's probably like a contact or a support option there too. So you can reach out to their email if you have questions that aren't answered for you at that point. So typically it's $5,000 for the package. They are offering it for $997 to ShineOn people. So again, jewelryprofits.shineon.com, jewelryprofits.shineon.com if you are interested in that. And Matt, really appreciate you coming on and sharing that with us. I got 2 more slides here to wrap up. Feel free to hang out if you want. If you found this helpful today, if you liked the video, if you like what ShineOn's got to offer, if you thought Matt shared some golden nuggets, if you laughed at any of my jokes, I'd ask that you tell other people about ShineOn, right? And we recently launched an affiliate program that's really cool. If you've had at least 100 sales with ShineOn, the affiliate program is opened up, and it's available to you automatically. All you got to do is go to analytics and then referrals inside the ShineOn dashboard or app. Up at the very top right corner of the screen, you're going to see your referral link. This is your custom link that you can share with friends, family. You can put it in your e-com groups. Anybody that signs up through this link, you will get 75 cents per order, up to like $1 million, I believe, a month per user, something like that. So it's a really good deal. You can see this in this particular screenshot. We've had a bunch of signups here. Over $2,400 in commission has been paid. There's $175 kind of waiting just to be cashed out there. So anyways, it can be really valuable. So anyway, please, if you like ShineOn, please share it with your friends that may also like it as well. All right. So until next time, if you want to sign up and start selling at ShineOn, go to shineon.com. Takes 60 seconds, could change your life. You never know. If you're watching on YouTube and you're not in our Facebook group, there's something wrong with you. You need to fix that. Go to bit.ly/go-ShineOn, bit.ly/go-ShineOn to join our Facebook group. It's the most engaged e-commerce Facebook group around. If you're watching this on Facebook and you're not subscribe to our YouTube channel, again, what's going on with you? Go to youtube.com/c/ShineOnPod and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss a thing. We do have exclusive YouTube content coming out soon. A lot of what's there now lands in our Facebook group first. In the future, we do have some exclusive YouTube content coming out. So you're not going to want to miss that. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, we're at ShineOn on Instagram. So at ShineOn on Instagram. And then finally, before we part ways, you may have noticed that in the Facebook group, I posted a link to a survey recently. This is an NPS survey. It stands for Network Promoter Score, Net Promoter Score, Network Promoter Score, something like that. It's kind of an industry standard for helping gauge how satisfied people are with your business. I mean, that's kind of what it is. We want to provide world-class support here at ShineOn. You know, we try to go above and beyond in everything we do, and it would mean the world to us if you took this survey. We're actually making it a company goal this year, so everybody in the company, to improve that NPS score, right? So we're getting a baseline right now. So tell us what you really think of us. You can be mean, you can be nice. It doesn't really matter. We just want honesty. Tell us what you really think of us. Tell us exactly how we can improve and serve you better. And it is literally a company goal for us to move, to start serving you better. So we're going to try to improve that score this year. So your response there would mean the world to us. So if you've watched this far, thank you everybody for joining us this week on Coffee with Michael. Matt, thanks a lot. Really appreciate you. And until next time, happy selling. Take care, everybody.